Real Kyper and Bourne on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
And so the final week begins. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Derek Brandeo, David Sisboom-Bond, Sammy McKee. Next 2 hours, we're going to break it all down for you. Gord Stellick will join us in about 45 minutes. George Richards, longtime Panthers writer, who now does his work with the Florida Hockey Now, will come by and help tee us up the game tonight. Paul Maurice's team still very much alive, something I didn't see, 2 months ago.
Now, we buried them once upon a time, but they are the zombie Panthers, much like the zombie Lightning, which we'll get to later. We'll talk more about that later.
They've got a tough task at hand. Not sure exactly what lineup we'll see out of the Toronto Maple Leafs versus Florida, but we will see a desperate Panther team tonight.
Is today a holiday, boys?
Easter Monday, perhaps?
Is it? Is that a thing?
Yes, it's a thing.
I think so.
Yes.
I remember getting 4 days off at Easter when I was in high school. I remember liking Easter the most because it was the most time off.
For school, government, and banks.
You're a grown-up now, Sammy. None of that.
So what are you saying? We shouldn't be at work today?
No. Friday was maybe we should have been at work. Today, I just didn't know if today was or not.
Yeah.
It was a little quieter on the subway today on the way in, so I thought maybe it was a holiday again.
A little something, something.
A little something.
But I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret about today. I'm excited.
Well, you are.
I'm like officially playoff excited today.
Well, it's playoff time now, and the weather outside is playoff weather.
Yeah.
The sun is shining. Birds are chirping. Flowers are flowering.
Matthew Nyes is a Maple Leaf.
The Masters are
The green
come and
jacket
gone.
was presented.
Yes. Did you enjoy yesterday? A little anticlimactic?
Did you expect a better race out of Aaron Ekblad's buddy?
How can you expect anyone who plays 54-hole tournaments to succeed the rest of the way? He was good for 3 rounds.
Well, listen, that argument's pretty good until you look at 100-year-old Phil Mickelson shooting 65 for the low round of the day on Sunday.
It's almost like playing important golf inspired the guy instead of
to me,
ceremonial golf.
The most electrifying part of yesterday was by far Phil Mickelson. Like the number one storyline out of that, other than Rahm getting his green jacket, which he deserved. He'd been working towards that. Phil Mickelson playing the way he did yesterday was incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
Loved it. And he looks like a villain in a buddy
So
cop
what are you
movie
saying? It
with
didn't
those.
get played up enough?
Pardon?
It didn't get played up enough because he's a live guy?
No, listen, the broadcast pretty much had the pom-poms on for John Rahm the whole day. They were dreading a live guy winning.
The Rom-Roms?
Yeah, the Rom-Roms. But I think it's hard to deny the history of Phil that's won the green jacket 3 times. So I really, really enjoyed watching him play yesterday. Him and Spieth were like 1,400 combined yesterday. It was an amazing pair to watch.
They didn't show him much earlier in the week when he flipped over a club, swung from the other side of the ball, and hit one 200 yards out of the woods.
Listen, it's been a couple of years here for Phil. It's been a little wild.
He's an electric player.
And I'm glad Koepka didn't win,
I am too.
right?
Yeah. Bye-bye, Brooksy.
Ekblad's cheering against him yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure. But, I mean, Koepka hasn't been in moments like that in years.
Yeah, it's muscle memory. To win a major, you got to be able to look back on things, and it's been a long time.
You can see some of the comments out of that Netflix. What was it called?
Full swing.
Yeah, Full Swing. You can see that Koepka creep in Sunday in his head.
Oh, yeah.
The
So
one
he's in his own
that,
kitchen a bit, eh?
questioning himself.
On the
and-
first tee of the 4th round, he hit it 3,000 yards offline. It's like, uh-oh.
Okay, so quick plug here. Myself and Brent Gunning recorded the golf show this morning with Shane Ryan from Golf Digest, excellent guest, and we were talking about how you can forget how to be clutch in golf or whatever. But we were also talking about that Netflix episode, and we said that he would pay the same amount of money that he got paid from Liv to have that scrubbed from the internet.
It's so true.
All the people in my life that talk to me that are casual golf fans about that episode, everybody just thinks he's this mental midget that stinks. He can't win anything. He's no good.
Yeah, even people who didn't have an opinion on him are now like,
Oh, this guy's a
that
choker.
guy."
And this guy won 4 majors in like a year and a half.
In ruthless fashion.
Yeah. So, anyways, check out the golf show wherever you get your pods.
And the big thing too between Phil and Koepka, like they're ranked like 400 and
Oh,
100
they're way
now.
down the list.
And they're not the 400th best
No,
golfer in the
100%,
world. It's
no.
just stupid.
Yeah.
The world-
I picked Phil.
The world rankings
Yes.
system could use a little bit
Yeah,
of
whoever's voting's like an old NHL goal judge, right? You're just like,
Yeah, it looked like it might have gone in. Red
what
light.
do you do here? Hey, Derek,
It's hilarious that we relied on those
the
guys.
ranking guys. What exactly?
What would you say you do here?
Yes. Thank you.
It's a
Derek.
system, and
What was it? Thigala, who was ranked like 29th, and he was like, there's no way there's only 28 better players than me.
well, Thigala hit the Tiger shot yesterday, so that was pretty cool
Yeah, he's this player.
on 16. Anyways,
Okay.
enough golf.
Leafs smoked the Habs 7-1 on Hockey Night in Canada, and just should have been just a normal game, a quiet game, one that just you chalk up to one of 4 at the time left of the season.
Yeah.
But a few more storylines than probably even the Leafs would have liked coming out of that game.
Yeah.
Where do you guys want to start?
I
You
guess-
want to start with the goaltending situation? To me, that's the biggest story
Yeah.
for me coming out of the weekend was watching Samsonov play, and then move over Zamboni drivers of the world. Jet Alexander is now the 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah. I guess the most interesting part of all that to me was the machinations the Leafs had to make happen for Matthew Nyes. You know, they had to sort of pretend that Matt Murray might back up so they could recall or, sign a guy for a one-day emergency contract. So their salary cap wasn't in, they had to do a bunch of stuff to make it possible to sign Jet, send Wool down so they had enough money to sign Matthew Nyes, which probably made Samsonov the starter on a night he wasn't going to start. It was probably a Joseph Wool night, but because Murray got hurt, they had to do a bunch of stuff so they could sign Nyes, so Samsonov had to play. So thank God he didn't get hurt, and thank God he played really well, although it sure looked like he might have hurt himself.
What, about early in the second period?
Yeah, looked
Very
like his knee.
slow, and I know the guys, Chris Cuthbert and Craig Simpson and the whole Hockey Night in Canada staff there gave us ample opportunity to look at pictures that supported that he's A, hurt something, or B, he's not feeling well, or he's trying to manage something. But something weird was going on there.
Like I tore my MCL a couple of times, and like sometimes it would pop in a disconcerting way. And I don't know what's going on with Samsonov. I'm not saying that's the case for him, but like something happened.
Yes.
The coach spoke about this, if this is what you want to lead off talking about.
Well,
he
here
got
we are.
asked about what happened with him, if you want to hear it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
But I just saw the way that he was responding or reacting. It looked like he was uncomfortable there. So, yeah, there was a little bit of uncertainty there for a bit, and then there was a whistle shortly after. The guys went out and talked to him, and the ref talked to him, and he didn't motion towards the bench or anything. So he's done that a couple of times where something, he gets a little uncomfortable and takes a little bit to shake it off. So, but yeah, of course we were concerned and cautious at that point. But players talked to him. He had no interest in coming out or needing to talk to the trainer or anything. And then they followed up with him at the remaining TV timeouts, and he was good. Checked with him again in the intermission, and he was good. And turns out he went back out and it was fine.
Okay, we've seen this before. Not even with Sammy. I think there was an episode, if I'm not mistaken, last year that in Calgary that may have involved with Jack Campbell. I can't even remember. But I'm just saying that we've seen signs of a goalie maybe looking a little bit uncomfortable, like Sheldon just said. But if he doesn't make it a note, doesn't come in, like, no, it's as if I'm not looking until you tell me to look out of the Leafs.
What's interesting
Whose call is it?
I'm
JB?
of two minds. Like, you should have, in normal circumstances, you look at Samsonov, look half hurt, and you go, you're out. I don't care if it's good, bad, whatever. We're going to protect you. We're going to get you out. But when Jet Alexander's on the bench, and no disrespect to Jet, but, not an NHL goalie, it's a different circumstance. So leaving him in because you have Jet on the bench kind of allowed him to find his way again and show to himself, it feels good. I can play through this and maybe get a little confidence out of that, I hope. But you're right. It is a situation watching it where I was like, I don't know, should he probably just get yanked whether he's fine or not?
the thought that I had watching the game and the fact that Samsonov was even starting that game was, boy, Matthew Nyes better be a good player because you're putting your whole season at risk to sign Nyes having to start Samsonov in a completely meaningless game against a crappy team on home ice. I know he's going to start before the end of the year, right? He's not going to go complete, but that's not one he would usually start, right? Like that's definitely a Joseph Wall one. And you had to put him in there because you're, doing cap chicanery. Like it's a risk. It's a risk every night he starts, I understand, but that one particular just kind of rubbed me the wrong way with how they had done it.
Listen, before we get into like this whole Matthew Nyes thing and being manipulated into signing him, just from the sheer notion that this is your goalie, this is your number one guy, and he's not 100% healthy.
Yeah.
Is the biggest red flag for me of them all. There's something going on. They don't consider it serious enough to either pull him themselves, or Samsonov doesn't feel like it's a big enough issue that he needs to get himself out of the lineup. But yet there's something there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
your goaltending tandem that you're leaning on is Murray and Samsonov. One guy's hurt and the other's half hurt.
So
they think it's manageable in a regular season. They think it's manageable. Explain to me what happens when you're 2 weeks into the playoffs and you're playing every other night. Tell me what it's going to look like.
It's going to look like hyperbaric chambers and needles, whatever it is to get him functional.
Kip, are you saying that he is dealing with something?
Well,
How
clearly
can he not
is.
be?
I mean, I think there's part of him. He likes to ham it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You think he's an attention seeker?
I think not him. No,
We have enough of those on the internet, please.
I just think there's a world like this isn't the first time this season where he's favored something or like he's like, oh, I'm kind of not feeling right. Like you guys have played hockey your whole lives. There's guys that
I think there's something there. There's something there that he's told.
I think it can be both.
This is what happens.
I think there's a little from column A and a little from column B here.
This is what happens too, is that you get told maybe that you got something there.
Yeah.
It ain't getting any worse. It's just a matter of you tolerating the pain. And, if it subsides, you should be fine. That's what I think's going on.
Sure. I
And-
think you're right.
I think there's probably something to him being like, I'm playing through something here. I'm a warrior.
And he likes that.
For
He's
sure.
the one guy. He's the opposite of maybe Matt Murray, where all the stars have to align for me to feel really good.
It's a nice warm-up for me, yeah?
He's the opposite. He's like, yeah, you're going to have to
Drag me out of the net.
exactly. You're going to have to pull me out of here with, tie me up on a rope and pull me out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah. I'll give him the points he hung in there.
Could make him an all-time superstar in this league if he can see this thing through with that attitude.
Yeah.
They'll be making a statue for him if he can get them to June.
Yeah.
I would have just started Jet. Why not?
Why not?
You're already you're not going up, you're not going down. Habs suck. Like you're gonna risk another injury.
So
Just start Jet.
okay, so
Benny and the Jets.
let's
baby.
get to this. That you can see him laboring out there, but you don't pull him. And then when you least expect to pull him, you pull him with a minute, 10 seconds to go?
Yeah.
Minute and 4 to go.
Yeah. What a sideshow.
So the first thought, and we heard it from the Hockey Net guys, is like, what a great gesture. This is great. He gets to go home and feel great. He's going to remember this the rest of his life, hang the jersey over the fireplace. What a great moment we gave him.
Oh.
And
I'm
then
going to
there's-
Grinch this thing up.
And then there's others that I've spoke to, and we've not talked about this, but I'm getting the thought that you, who should be most of the time opposite of me because I'm the dinosaur and you're the young generation guy, you don't like it.
No. What are we doing here? 3 games till playoffs. Like we're trying to tighten this ship up. It's not for fun anymore. No one should be having fun.
Playoffs?
This is
What's the number one reason why you didn't like him going in with a minute to go?
I guess why? It's not like he's like a Make-A-Wish kid or something that we're doing something kind for.
No,
Like
he
he's
kind of is.
No, he is a college goaltender who pitched a .920 in Toronto for the University of Toronto.
Yeah, which is not professional hockey.
Okay, well, why are we trying to make his dreams come true? I'd like to go in.
Well,
Put
you
me
heard
in.
you heard the goal song. You make my dreams
Yeah.
come
Is that
true.
what we're doing
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Yeah, listen, I
What
didn't like
for?
I didn't like it either.
What was your reason? Same as me?
Yes, mine's a little bit bigger in terms of that it's an earned right to play in the National Hockey League. You don't get plucked out of the crowd. You don't win a contest to play in the NHL.
Well, yeah, apparently you do. I can tell you who wouldn't have liked it, and I know he didn't because we have the comments, is Sheldon Keefe.
Well, that brings us to another topic of conversation is
I loved it. You know why?
Sheldon coming out after the game. Do you have the clip?
Oh, we got it.
Hold on, Sammy, you loved it?
Yeah, it's a nice slap in the face to the Habs. Eat that.
Let's have a listen.
It was not my decision, and word came down to me about 30 seconds before the whistle came, and made it happen.
Whose decision was it?
It's not important.
Well, I can tell you whose it wasn't. It wasn't Brendan Shanahan. It was definitely Kyle Dubas. It was 100%. No room
Everything's great.
to hear. He wanted, the Oilers did it right earlier in the season. They did it for a college kid. Same thing.
Yeah, you know what the difference is?
It was 30 games ago.
Jay Woodcroft didn't come out and say it wasn't my decision. He came out and said we talked about it.
Yeah,
and
he asked Connor
and Connor
yeah.
and all got in, and then Jack Campbell said he loved the idea,
Yeah.
and it was a collective group.
Yeah.
Sheldon, none of that.
Yeah.
Zero.
I don't want to spend too much time on it because, like, who cares?
No, I care.
Okay.
I do care.
Oh. It
Because-
just seems like a meaningless thing.
No,
4
it's
games
not
ago to go
meaningless.
there. I was like, why?
It's not. What did you say you liked about it, Sammy?
Yeah, it's a slap in the face to a rival.
Yeah. How about your slap of your face to your general manager?
The only part I didn't like is him throwing Dubas under the bus.
There, thank you. He
No,
said it.
Yeah, but if I'm Keefe, I'm like, I think it's stupid. And I'm not wearing that. If we're doing that, you
Let
wear
me tell
it.
you something. I'm the general manager. I'm Kyle Dubas. And I want my general manager to say, I think your idea is stupid to the media after the game. I got a serious problem with Sheldon.
You know what Sheldon should have done? Not done
Coach
it.
is going to keep his mouth
Heard
shut.
the order and not done it.
Yes. Or just take the bullet. Take it.
Fine.
Say, we
You know,
decided.
fine.
We decided to do it.
Yeah.
End of story. But you created a storyline right now. You know what the storyline is? You don't get to coach. You got to take orders from up top.
I think you're in way too much into a thing that's like,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like they tried to do a
I've
nice
been
thing for a kid
told-
when they shouldn't have.
I've been told to put somebody in the middle of a game.
Who is keep Charlie Montoyo over here? Like you're just getting told by the
Well, I
big
think,
guy?
you know, you guys are not oblivious to the fact that GMs have some input onto who plays and doesn't.
Listen, I don't care. I'm glad they did it.
Okay. And do you let the public know about that, or do you just kind of keep it internally?
Well, apparently it's internal because this seems like a big deal that we're hearing about it.
No, it became external when you admitted it's not my decision. Not my decision.
Yeah.
What coaches come out and talk about their lineup at any time in any era, and they say, not my decision. It's a big deal.
Really? I think they're trying to do something nice. Sorry, Kyle wanted to do something nice for the kid they signed. Sheldon didn't want it. They did it. I don't know.
We do not agree.
If you see something where there
I
is a
just think
sign of
it's-
like,
It's not good to not all be on the same page.
for sure.
That's all.
Yeah, for sure.
You're either together or you're not together.
Yeah.
And you don't get to pick and choose when you want to illustrate to the world that, we disagree on this.
Another reason to hate this is that
Look it up. Look it up.
you're making people have these conversations. Like why? You win 7-1, everyone's great. All the top guys get points. The power play is unbelievable. Go home.
Yeah,
Cash your chips.
I was really surprised, guys, that Sheldon was as quick to go to the fact that he wanted to wash his hands off of the decision for Jet
Yeah.
to go in the last minute. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see any examples of that. Even in my playing days before that, coaches and general managers, they got to be together publicly, or else people will start wondering what else they disagree about.
And I guess that's where we are.
And you mentioned the oil, like people were saying that, oh no, no one mentioned it when the Oilers did it. It's like, no, we did. We talked about it for 5 minutes on one show, being like how much we didn't like it.
And we buried it.
We buried it.
Yeah.
We buried it. So anyways, it doesn't matter.
We played Samsonov, right?
Yeah, we did.
Do you want to do on Jet
Oh,
Alexander?
we played it. That was him talking about.
Oh, okay. We did that one already.
Yeah, all good. So,
all right. So
rewind to an overview. Do we want to get his picture of the whole thing?
The more insulting move than putting Jet Alexander to me is having the top PP unit up there 6-1 with 5 minutes left.
That I'll hear.
Okay, to be fair though, how much time was left on the second unit?
Still,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but
and to be clear, I do not care about both. But if I'm on the Habs, and boy, like, did you see what Chris Weidman said about it? He said they'll get what they deserve in a few weeks after they put Jet Alexander.
That's a hell of a line. But I will say, you're trying to fine tune for the playoffs. I don't really care if they're upset. They just stop the puck then if you don't want us to score. We're trying to work on our things over here. But yeah, you heard the Weidman line?
I did hear the
what they
Weidman
deserve?
line. Yeah, listen, I would have felt the same way.
Yeah.
How
I
could
would
you
have
not?
been.
Imagine sassing off when you're 2-9,000 on the season or whatever the Habs are.
These guys are competitive guys, and you're putting in like it's legitimately a contest winner.
And it's not Arizona. It's your most historic, the organization with the most pride
on Hockey Night in Canada
on the planet. There's not a prouder organization than the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh God, let them do a ceremony. They'll show you.
So you are
just
going to
ask
now.
them.
Just ask.
You are now going to drop in a contest winner in net at 7-1.
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed.
I can't imagine
So
being
pissed.
pissed enough to say something in the media after losing 7-1. But
I would have.
Ambulance.
I would. Like if it's me get interviewed after, I'm 100% saying something. Like have a little class.
So
oh, you poor babies.
No,
I know your point.
And to be clear, I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
you're just.
I'm a fan. I want to see the Montreal Canadiens embarrassed, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, it happened.
I'm thrilled. There you go.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled.
it happened.
They got embarrassed in every facet. Even their tough guy tried to fight Wayne Simmons. He got the wheels beat off him. So, anyways.
And then, to Sammy's point, the power play. I'm just at that point now where you almost have to just wave the white flag on, if the world is a big participation ribbon out there and everybody just wants to hand one out, and you gave one to this Jet Alexander and you're going to give it to your second or your power play units, that it's their right to go score another goal. Marner's chasing 100. I don't know whether or not that the whole idea was to make it 8-1 for Marner to get that much closer. I don't know where they're at, but it would have bothered me a lot worse a few years ago. Now it's like, this is what they do now.
But to me, it's the participation medal as being the losing team and being like, they shouldn't be allowed to try so hard. That's not good. That's the team that's getting the participation medal if you back it off.
Well,
what would you?
I view putting the goalie in as, you go tell everybody now that you made the NHL, that you played in the NHL. That's a great story.
Yeah.
You didn't get a shot on goal. You could have put anybody in. You could have dressed anybody. You had 19,000 people to put equipment on and stand there for a minute,
result.
and they could have had the same result. Yeah. They could have told the same story.
Yeah.
Is that important? Like, is mission accomplished for Jet Alexander now to go tell that story?
Jet's probably like, I didn't ask to go in. Why am I getting buried?
Boy, I thought about having him on the show today. I'm glad we didn't.
You know how many goalies out there that came so close and can't tell that story that Jet can tell now?
I know. Could we talk about all the hockey things?
All right. Okay.
All right.
Matthew Nyes
Yeah.
should play tonight. He's there.
What?
I think he's ready to go.
Do you have any insight whether or not he will play tonight?
Well, I hear Yarncroc will not play tonight.
Yeah, he's still day to day.
I heard some things.
He had a MRI on his lower half. Came back good.
Oh, ooh, okay. Good.
You may have to because I'm sure that there were some promises made when he signed his contract. You didn't get the B bonuses or the bonuses that you wanted, but you're going to get an opportunity to play.
I actually love that you mentioned promises because I was wondering what you thought would have been promised to him, because that's a part of this too. You mentioned didn't get his, whatever bonuses, and he seems to really like this college thing. He didn't quite accomplish the mission this past year. Do you think they had to say, come along and you'll get X opportunity?
I think with the thought of him playing in the championship game and then the 3 remaining games, he knows exactly what games he's playing in, or
and with
more
who?
so, maybe who he's playing with.
Yeah.
Maybe the promise extended to, we're going to put you with Matthews or Tavares in those games. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any proof of that. I'm not suggesting that it's inside information.
We're talking.
Generally, that sort of stuff would follow up assigning a top college prospect.
I also think, as you head into playoffs, he looks like he's your 13th forward currently. You want to have some sense of what he can do. You want to put him in a position to succeed without putting him in a position where it's like, all right, you're Matthews, Marner, and Nyes or something, right? You have to earn that, I think. But I do think that you want to have some sense of what he can do in a good spot with good players. It's going to be interesting to see how they choose to roll him out initially, because it doesn't make sense that he replaces Aston Reese and plays with Kampf and Lafferty or something and plays 10 minutes either. So probably third line with O'Reilly.
You could take Bunting out.
Put him right up to the very tippy.
It wouldn't shock me.
Well, they've done that before with new guys that have come in.
Yeah.
And they've put him right into the action like we've talked about. So,
but it just, we've also talked about how that puts you in a position to look like you failed perceptually when you find yourself in the 4th line later. I don't know. I would love for them to have kind of played a little bit of hardball with him and been like, look at our lineup. Aston Reese is humming. Lafferty's playing great. Like, our 4th line's good.
There's
we'll get you in for these games, but not game one.
You know what the hardball was? There are no extended bonuses.
Yeah.
And if there are, you're not playing this year. That's the hardball. We can't fit you in, and we can't carry those bonuses into next year with a flat salary cap.
Yeah.
That's the hardball.
Yeah. Will you, be committed to this? The guy's a 57th pick, which is, the end of the 2nd round. I don't know how common it is for those guys to get bonuses, but
generally you have way more leverage coming out of college, but it sounded like they got him signed as a 2nd round pick.
Yeah. Which, even though he's probably played his way perceptually better than that.
Yeah.
Play PP2 and 3rd line. That's my vote for tonight.
Just on another note, he has to be crushed losing.
Brutal.
Didn't even mention that.
Saturday night.
OT of the national championship.
Bob Motzko, the coach, he's in the Sheldon Keefe camp of overtime starting.
Okay.
He puts
his checking line out.
He's got the top line in college hockey, and he loses.
Those guys
overtime.
they watch their team lose.
Sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Your checking line
He just won Coach of the Year. And we don't know. Maybe he did everything perfectly. I have no idea. But it is strange not watching them or knowing to not have your good players on the ice.
10 seconds in.
Yeah.
And
10 seconds in, it's over.
And the Quinnipiac guy that scored did the most epic celebration.
Down their bench, he saloned it, threw his gloves up and shot him.
But down to one knee, shooting the air.
And you know what? As all those people complain, you can't complain about that. Not in that moment.
People complain about that?
No, I just in hockey we do. Hey, should he have celebrated? It's like, no, you're allowed.
That's a moment to shoot your
gloves.
Yeah, I'd be shooting the hell at anything if I scored a goal like that. So
pretty darn good.
Yeah, well, it's a little weird though because I've been cutting tape from Keefe all year, and he usually on a game day, they usually talk around 10:30, 11, and they didn't talk. They're not talking until 4:30 today. So it's a little unusual for them.
Which I see them coming out with an update on Nyes that he'd be a game time decision. That's what I would expect.
Yeah. I'm sure they have to sit with him and show him tons of video of like, here's our systems. You know what I mean? Here's our structure. Here's what it looks like when you're out there. You know, I don't know if that means Keefe couldn't talk because of that or not, but
I think they'd give him 2 or 3 things to think about,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
I was thinking the same thing. It's not like you're going to put him on the
No.
power play and be like, here's your route and here's
No.
your, it's like just stick to 5-on-5.
I would think now, based on Saturday night, what do they go, 4 for 7?
Yeah, is that good?
That's
4
pretty
for
good.
6.
4 for 6?
Are
Thank
we
you.
are we going to note that Morgan Riley watched a game where the PP scored 4 times and Gustafson ran the point?
And Willie's not on the first unit?
What'd you make of that?
And he's shot the puck 10 times at Montreal's net.
Yeah, I'd probably foresee playoff success without Willie playing a bigger role on the power play.
You don't
But
see it
I,
for him.
I like Ryan O'Reilly a lot. I think I liked him. I liked him with Tavares on the left wing and Willie. I'm the responsible one here.
Yeah.
I know you guys are gonna go get your cookies, but I can play a 200-foot game and maybe keep an eye on things back here.
Yeah, I like it. Go ahead, Sam.
I just think that, you can talk about giving Willie the Willie whack, if we will, but moving him down to the third line, doing all that, that's one thing. Taking him off PP1 is a real statement.
Though that PP2 with him there now.
No, I know, but still, listen, you're talking like Keefe would be talking.
Like, it's a real unit. Like,
To take away perceptually from Nylander,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be one of the team's best goal scorers, a guy that how many other teams in the league would have on their power play unit, their top unit, for him to get demoted from that is a pretty big shot across the bow with 3 games before the playoffs. That's a pretty big tinker.
no
listen,
argument here.
No bigger than 2 years ago when they took Morgan Riley off against Montreal and said, Sandin, you're our number 1 power play guy.
No question. That was dumb too.
Well, I don't know that this is dumb at all, though. Like, I think it's, to me.
Yeah, no, you're right. I shouldn't say this is dumb. I think this might be the right call.
Right.
But from Nylander's perspective, it
Yeah,
is
you don't love
extremely
it.
dumb.
Since they've had Ryan O'Reilly, maybe they could have done this sooner. But to me, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander are all power play flank guys. There are 2 flanks. That, if you have another guy, they've had success when Bunting and Tavares have been on PP1 too, because someone gets it. You got more get it guys. So maybe you have a more functional second unit. You have another look to give.
There is no second unit in the power play, okay?
Yeah,
there
there's a
isn't. They
second
take the whole thing. They score or they take the whole thing.
Now the second unit
Where are
comes
you
out.
going to give Willie the last
Just
15
10
seconds on a
left in
power
the
play?
Guess
Hold on,
every
one more
power-
time.
Now the second unit comes out and just 10 seconds left in the power play.
Thank you. Go get a goal, Willie.
Well,
You got 10.
I don't think that's the common
The bigger,
distribution of ice time.
the bigger conversation is how damn good Gustafson looked.
Yeah. I know it's all offense, but he is
Hey.
a better offensive player
I
than
will
Riley.
I'll bet you almost anything Gustafson is nowhere to be found in game 1.
Agree.
I would agree.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So-
I don't think he's in a
So
suit.
where are we?
But, I mean,
Well,
there's-
I
there's
think they're giving it the reps just in case.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have a
guess-
Break
yeah,
class and go like glass in case of emergency.
Yeah, when you're down 3-1 or 3-2.
Well, do you not want to try to come back or what?
Yeah.
You want to
Listen-
have some looks at it.
Listen to this clip. He got asked if he was experimenting or if he's actually thinking about going to it, and this was his answer about the power play.
Well, I wouldn't experiment with anything I'm not considering. So I guess they go hand in hand.
It is real. It is real. Should we do Keefe on Willie as well off our Willie chat? Is that relevant here?
It sure is.
All right.
absolutely.
Let's do that.
Well, I think, like I said, I think last night was a good indication of the fact that he's motivated to work his way through it. And I thought, like I said, I thought he's tremendous. He's taking guys on one-on-one. He's skating through traffic, skating through battles, and getting on the other side to get a stick free, to get off a shot. On the power play, he did what I want him to do when he was out there with that group, is to take charge and shoot the puck. One rips off the bar, you want to see that one go in for him, but just that's the mindset that Willie's at his best. That's what he's bringing. So we saw that last night. I've seen signs of it in some other games. I thought last night it was most consistent. It was a good night for a guy like him to really, find himself and get that swagger back a little bit.
Leafs have to have the all-time best power play that gets talked about as a concern. Second best in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
We know better, Kip. We've seen this play out.
Willie, it's funny listening to Sheldon. The first thing he acknowledges is that Willie, I think, what did he say? He's willing to work through it, or is that what he kind of
something like that?
Yeah, something like that. So apparently, working hard might be an issue for him right now. Do you think he's pushing hard right now, or has been in the last
that he has
2
looked
weeks?
as driven? But it's it's one of those armchair psychologist things. But no, he hasn't been.
That's the one thing that I've
driving the
noticed
net the same way.
is that the effort to me has not been there like it was in the heart of the season where he had the most success.
When he's going, right?
Yeah, well, they need him going, and he was going on Saturday night. Sammy mentioned that is sort of his cookie night, though. He can lackluster Habs team. You're up 3-1. Here he comes.
Kipper, I'm dying to ask you about this, Kipper, because what'd you make of Marner on the bench watching the iPad and begging for the assist on the Matthews goal? Because I hated that.
Scores do that. They want their cookies.
Yeah,
right.
But
and he's going
optics of
after
that,
100, and
didn't love it.
Maybe he's just looking how the play developed. Maybe he's not looking at that.
But you loved Matthews chasing 60 last year, but you don't love Marner chasing 100. Why?
One thing's not the other. It's not even the same conversation. If Matthews was looking at the iPad begging for a goal that maybe not as his, I would have said the same thing. It's not a Matthews versus Marner thing. I just think it's not a good. I hate iPads on the bench. Period. I just think, get your head in the game. What are you watching Succession on your iPad for? Get your head in the game.
What did you think of the assist? First of all, that he got ripped, or he felt he got
obviously an assist. Did he get credited with it? Did he get credited with it?
Last I heard, they were going to revisit it.
It was
he's
clearly
got 98 points. I think he had 95 going into that game, so I think he got it.
It was clearly an assist.
What's he at today? 98.
Yeah,
and a lovely goal by Matthews.
So he got 3. That should have been the 4th.
Oh, really? Yeah, maybe he didn't get it.
The optics of that, didn't love it. I hate the iPads.
Listen,
I'd hate any team doing it.
At the end of the day here, I mean, the focus for Mitch and the teammates at a certain point of Saturday's game would be to try to help him get as close to 100. That's what guys do. And to me, it's no different than Matthews gunning for 60. Everybody talked about it. They were so over the top last year trying to get him the puck.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is no one had got 60 in 30 years and 8 guys have 100 points this year. It's a different type of milestone.
But it's Mitch's milestone, so that doesn't
to the
equate.
Team it should. Yeah.
It's for the team. It should be, hey, this guy is our MVP. He's carried us. He does everything for us. We want to do this for you because it's that important to you, and we want you happy and getting ready to beat Tampa Bay in the first round. That's all I saw Saturday night.
Should we hear Keith talking about old Mitch Marner?
Felt like he could have got to 105 tonight. The amount of plays that he was making and stuff that he was doing out there. Yeah, I thought he was excellent. I thought we had a lot of great nights from guys tonight, and that's obviously what we were hoping for. We wanted to play a really sound game, very structured and smart game, but you wanted guys to be really feeling good. In terms of their offensive production, and we made lots of plays, had lots of chances to score, even more than we did. So that end was good.
Poor Montembeault.
Yeah, it was a tough night for him, eh? Everything found a way through and up and around and over. It's like
quick thought on Wayne Simmons.
Loved it. I was talking to Bourne about this before the show, but it just every time he goes into a fight. He's getting older. He's not the tough. You don't think he's the biggest guy. And every time he goes into a fight, I'm like, ooh, this one. And then he just has the guy on the ground in 2 seconds. He just beat the crap out of Pizzetta.
Legit 185 or something. He just.
I can't give this guy enough credit for what he's done for the Leafs this year. Hasn't said a word. He plays once every 3 weeks. goes into these games, plays with intensity, willing to drop the gloves. Guy's a warrior.
Hope he plays tomorrow.
I think if you ask Knightley, the team, who they'd rather have in the lineup, he'd be the first one that they'd want.
Yeah, they love him.
And I appreciate Aston Reese and what he's done to build up, but in certain scenarios, you want Wayne Simmons. You don't want Aston Reese.
Yeah.
Or Hunt. Or
Hunt.
I don't know.
Well, Hunt plays for Calgary. So you don't have to worry about him.
Well, I'm telling you over the year. Okay, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Over Zahorna.
Yes,
well,
Zahorna.
Who else?
Zahorna, well, he scores now. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Hoping Nyes plays tonight, boys.
That
It'll be
would
fun.
Be very fun.
It'll be fun. Okay, we'll ask Gord Stellick. We got him after the break. And then second hour, it's George Richards, a longtime Panther writer, will help us tee up the game. Plenty more on Real Kyper and Bourne. We're glad you're along for the ride.
Wheel, Kyper and Bourne on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Derek Brandeo has spoken. Stellectricity is there. How do we know that? He's been on hold for 27 minutes. Let's welcome in Gord Stellick. Gord, you're an eager beaver, I can tell.
Hello, am I on the air? Am I caller 4?
Caller 4, let's go to North Toronto. State your name and where you're calling from.
It's Gordon, Toronto. I'm a little nervous. First-time caller. Remember that?
Long-time
caller.
listener.
Jeez, long-time listener. Living in my parents' basement. Yes. And here's my idea. Yes.
All right.
So is it
Mitch
make
Marner's
Riley
gotta get
left winger? That's everyone's idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Power left winger.
Yeah.
And you know what? Always don't forget, when you get that prime guy, throw in a 6th-round pick in the trade. Right? That's always, yeah.
Gord, did Saturday night play out exactly the way it should? The Leafs teeing it up, let the offensive players get their cookies and get ready for the playoffs here as you end 3 on the road. Did it do what it was supposed to do Saturday night?
Yeah. You know that's the highest price ticket, right, of the year. You know, they got that tiered pricing, even though, it really wasn't the most important game, but it just shows there is some special cachet with Montreal. What a suck Weidman is. Jeez, I mean, they sing that na 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 song in Montreal, when they're winning and that, and I hate it when I see it in kids hockey, people start cheering it. So, yeah, I thought it was just what the doctor ordered. Real nice touch with Mark Curtin, being honored as being presented in the Leafs and the whole backing of the ALS situation with Borja, and now Mark Curtin, who just, carries on in that. And Mitch's got to get, I don't know why Mitch sat out against Detroit. 100 points is important. It's important. It's something significant. The guy's worked hard for it. It means a lot to him. So good that you said he got ripped off one, so he's 2 away from 100. And, normally I hate people that chase cheap points. That used to be the way. Kippy, you know that. And Justin, that you had bonuses, which you can't get anymore, the same. And you see guys trying to chase down a cheap second assist late, and you go, I know that guy's close to 30 assists. Probably Kyper. And he's got another $5K or something like that if he gets that assist. Right, Kyper?
$500.
Yeah. Okay, back then. So, yeah.
That's my junior hockey experience. People running around chiseling, we used to call it. Talking to
Yes.
them. 12 on that. Was there an open second assist? Throw a 12 on that?
Yes.
Yeah, but not so much an option in this day and age. One of the guys who didn't get as many assists as I expected him to in the national tournament, Matthew Nyes, is now a Toronto Maple Leaf. Leafs Nation is excited. They haven't really had a top prospect since, I don't know, whether it be Nick Robertson and then who before it. But what are your thoughts on what should happen over the next 3 games with old Mr. Matthew Nyes?
Yeah, you know something, Justin, you're right about. I mean, Christian Hansen and those guys weren't drafted, right? They were sort of those late bloomers that you're taking a run at them, and I guess Bozak was the one that panned out the best. But boy, it's really been a long time since a real NCAA blue chipper comes out, and I think you want the player to get his feet wet. Get in a game or two. Probably best to get against the Tampa Bay Lightning since you're going to play them in the first round. And you talked earlier about Wayne Simmons and all these other guys. I mean, there's all these different spices Sheldon Keefe has. And, this guy seems like he's going to be a real good player, should be a top 6 guy, a good size, a bit of a power forward, the 2023 version of a power forward element. It's too much to expect the player to do it right in the playoffs, but sometime, and we keep using the Chris Kreider model when he joined the Rangers, if someone just, catches lightning in bottle, gets off to a great start and whatever, then it gives you another possible option to ride. So I'm not those expecting big things in the playoffs, nor should you. It should be the other guns that come through, but it's nice to kind of get this add-on. But I caution some people that are thinking there's big things for Nyes right now in 2023.
What do you do, Gord? You just start him in the 3-4, or do you put him up with Marner and Matthews and Tavares and you see what he can do early? The amount of minutes, if it doesn't strike early, 8, 10, 12 minutes, can you plan for something like this?
Well, I think, because where the Leafs are right now, you can give them a little bit more than that. And you can do a little both about, like, hey, I like the fact that Sheldon Keefe, throws guys up on a big line every now and then. I guess it depends how annoyed he is at Michael Bunting on that particular day. I don't know, whatever. But so I wouldn't mind him going, like, put him on one of the big lines, just to get your feet wet. Welcome to the NHL, whether, it's playing with Matthews, whether it's playing with Tavares or what have you. And then probably your spot would be to be considered on if they get that third line with Ryan O'Reilly, that maybe that could be the kind of fit he could possibly play. So I'd give him a little bit of both. You because you're not Nashville, you're not Winnipeg or Florida or whatever. You're not playing for something about having to make the playoffs. So I'd let him get his feet wet a couple of different ways because you're not counting on this guy. Okay, if he fits in, that's great, but you're not counting on this guy to be a leader in the playoffs.
So what do you think now with, 3 games in 4 days, no more rest for the superstars, like just kind of get everyone in, roll our way through here and be prepared come playoffs? Or do you think guys still sit out?
It's funny talking to Dave Nonis about it the other day. He just said that, it always happened, except load management wasn't the catchy term. It was just called rest. And you really didn't miss as many games. You just didn't do stay-a-game skates. You didn't do practices. And, what guys love our games. Guys love our games, and I know Connor McDavid getting hurt in game number 82 in a season that Edmonton wasn't going to make the playoffs is always thrown that in there. Oh man, should you not have sat a player out? And but you can't. You can't operate like that about the fear of injury all the time. So if the guys want to play all 3 games. Play all 3 games because you get a whack of days off before. But I can see this as a chance, to whoever it is, have them miss a game. I think more of the veteran guys are the ones that you wouldn't mind doing to it. But I just want to see the lineup for game number 83 and let the real games begin.
We're talking to Gord Stellick, Leaf Nation pre and post, former Leaf general manager as well. The power play, really this time of year. It's fallen off the last 3 years, and it wasn't looking good. And then Saturday night they go 4 for 6, but it doesn't include Morgan Rielly and Willie Nylander. So, what kind of power play unit do you expect to see in Game 1?
Well, you go back to what's done it all year through thick and thin. I mean, that's where you got to go. And then you start making adjustments accordingly if that's not happening. And I think that's one thing that, we've talked about it, Kippy and Justin, about the whole coaching thing. And, Mike Babcock was coached by Bruce Cassidy. It's more, in my opinion, about how he had to show Austin Matthews, you got to do it the Babcock way. And certainly, in Sheldon Keefe's case, whether it's against Montreal, Columbus, or Tampa Bay, you can make some arguments in each particular cases about, reacting and adjusting and how you do that. Pat Burns did that really well every stop he did, including with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, I go back to the big guns that did it early on. You've got to have faith in that. It's been a funny animal for the Leafs when they've been, let's say spinning their wheels is a bit of an unfair term, but it's been the one known playoff, and I said getting home ice was important. Well, they got home ice, so that at least, they sustained a winning record in that regard. I still think the biggest test all season was when those 3D, and I mean, Jake Muzzin's been gone all season, but when Jake Muzzin, TJ Brody, and Morgan Rielly were all out, and I know I'm kind of drifting away from what you're talking about, the power play, but that was my biggest concern, that could have been a real tough thing, that all of a sudden, Kyle may have had to make a trade or two just to get a defenseman to plug in, and I was impressed with how the D and the whole team rallied this time. There was a lot of, to me, internal leadership shown that actually they played some of their best hockey at that particular time of the season. I think that was the biggest litmus test in the regular season.
How much would you anticipate that the Toronto Maple Leafs are talking about their upcoming opponents versus talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning? I realize they're one and the same in one case, but do you think they're into playoff prep already?
So I would hope they're somewhat in playoff prep already. I know what you mean. They always say you can't look beyond the next game, but really you can look beyond the next game. We've looked beyond the next game since the opening ceremonial. The 48th Highlanders started the bagpipes, and we're looking at game 83, okay? So, and that's where Justin, I look at it that, man, they always made those kind of moves that were the right moves. And even though Jeannot's hurt, he really wasn't making that kind of impact, kind of move that Tampa Bay traditionally gets. It seems like the Leafs have got those kind of guys. And, Tampa Bay getting a year older and playing so much hockey, and the Leafs getting a year more of their core players right into their prime of their NHL careers. I mean, there's all these little incremental things that I think are in the Leafs' favor. Again, that trump card is having a Vasilevsky. But yeah, I think they are. They're only human. We've been doing it as fans, so I'm sure they've been doing it as players, and I'm sure in a lot of ways everything's thinking about here's like beating Montreal Saturday. Okay, how does that apply? How's that applicable to our first series games against the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Gord, from some of the people that I've talked to this week, there are some suggesting that Matt Murray could be cleared by the end of the week. And does that now make it debatable on who backs up Samsonov come game one?
No. Samsonov, and again, I'm not dissing Matt Murray. I mean, it's been a funny and a little bit inconsistent animal all year long with the goaltenders, particularly Matt Murray. You do have that depth. You have Joe Wall now, who kind of gives you almost like a Phoenix Copley, Kochetkov, the number 3 goalie depth that a few other teams have had. But no, it's just like on your show, and Sammy we trust, right? Right, Kyper?
Well, sometimes they bring in this gunner guy, and it's kind of comical.
Brent is not comical. He'll be on tonight, Leaf Nation pregame. But yes.
Yes, your guy.
Yes,
sometimes they bring in your guy to replace me, and it's like, please.
Big shoes to fill, Kip. Big shoes. The the question marks as they head into the postseason have dwindled. We have a pretty good sense of what game one is going to look like. Pretty sure it's going to be Luke Schenn at this point. Your thoughts on Morgan Riley, his importance? They're trying Gustafsson on PP1. They're playing him with Luke Schenn. Your thoughts on this guy who has in the past been an important part of the Leafs in playoffs?
Yeah. They really have checked all the boxes this year. So it's and again, it's like you've studied perfect for that exam. You've failed every other year in calculus, and all of a sudden you get a 46 once again or something, at the end of it. But it's funny, our son Justin, who wasn't named after you, sorry Justin, but anyway,
shame.
Yeah, I know. He was just saying that. He goes, man, I really like Luke Schenn. I love the addition. I like what he is, but he has trouble skating. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I know, just sort of like, and everybody knows that. I mean, there's brought in for different elements that way. You mentioned it. Obviously, let's throw goaltending aside, whether it's Samsonov, whoever. We know that. That's understood. If we're, doing all our predictions and you're picking 16 teams, who is the factor X player? That's Morgan Riley for Toronto. It's not a best player. It's can you get, which are all 16 teams, can you get the best version of this player in the playoffs? Because you've seen a little bit of everything. And to me, Justin, that's what Morgan Riley is. Now there's more, Brody's been around for a few years. McCabe gives you another dimension as well, some more depth. But yeah, I am a big Morgan Riley fan, but I also do agree that it's kind of been a little all over the place at times this season. I just mentioned some of their best hockey was played when those guys were injured.
So who are you locking in with Morgan then? Is it Liljegren for game one?
Jeez. I don't know, but again, locking in. I'm willing to.
He's got to start with somebody.
Well, why don't you do 4 forwards at the start? Why don't you put Mitchie back there? Just start off. Yeah, I'd be okay with again, I don't know what the coaches think. To answer your question, Kippy, yeah, I'd be fine with Liljegren. I think there was kind of a thinking, can Luke Schenn and Morgan be like a regular pairing, right? A little bit of that, a little bit of dabbling that way. And I think that's just, Schenn will be used in certain opportunities. So, yeah, I would, to answer your question, I would be okay with Liljegren. But, Morgan Riley's got to be the straw that stirs the drink with whatever defensive pair he's on.
Final question on the playoff.
Turn your mic on.
Sorry, my mic was not on. Was
I supposed to ask him a question, or is your turn?
It doesn't matter. He's having a short daydream, but it's okay. The final question for me, Gord, about the Leafs heading into how do you feel about Sheldon Keefe heading into playoffs this year? Like, massive pressure, probably job on the line. Some people think he over tinkers or under tinkers. Where are you at on the coach's performance and expectations?
So Kippy remembers, maybe you do too. Remember when Saturday Night Live started and Garrett Morris would give the news thing for the hard of hearing? Go, today's last question. That's what I thought about when I couldn't hear you there.
Oh, he was awesome, that guy.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, Garrett. Yeah, that original Saturday Night Live cast definitely was awesome. And that, hey, I think Sheldon certainly, if he ends up going somewhere at some point, has open eyes around the hockey world. Not just being Kyle Dubas's guy, and getting an opportunity somewhat that wasn't expected. I mean, Mike Babcock should still be here now, a lot of people think. So, you know, I've been a big fan of his coaching. I've been a real big fan of his coaching. And I don't really know him before. So, you know, I had to kind of, you know, assess it for myself and that. But I become a big fan of his coaching. I just think it's understood that there's an element of unfairness about it because it's really been a solid regular season. They've really had a great regular season. If they lose in the first round, is it acceptable again that, okay, it was a great 7-game battle and it was overtime and this time the handshakes were firm and they also gave us hugs? You know, I don't know. Does that, you know, prevent I just think, you know, Justin, it's like to go back at it next year and sell it to the fans. You know, and again, I mean, we'll have time to assess this, and hopefully it's a moot point because it's got to be weird. And same for Kyle Dubas as well. That honest to God, I've mentioned they win one series as long as you don't get swept in 4. When you get swept in 4 in your second, third, whatever, you got to be competitive in the subsequent series as well. But they get their butts kissed. They get their butts kissed. They really do. Like in no other place. And that's why I talk about the different kind of pressures in Toronto. There's the fact that, yes, you get recognized all the time. It's tough to get some privacy, although it's a lot easier than it used to be. But, yeah, but you also, the bar is so low that these fans they'll hold a rally for you. We discussed that last week when I was on. So it's funny. They know. I mean, you to me, doesn't matter if he's a Jack Adams a candidate or you think he's the worst coach in the NHL. You know, this particular group flat out has to get by the first round, minimum.
Gord, I know we had a pretty in-depth conversation on Jet Alexander going in, but the reaction from Sheldon was that it wasn't my idea. It was a decision that came down to me. Did that surprise you?
Yeah.
That he said that?
Well, is he trying to blow smoke? Would give someone else credit? Like, I don't know. Like, otherwise, was he annoyed by it? Like, yeah, it did. It did, Kippy. I thought it was a very nice move. Edmonton did it. Like, the guy wasn't the e-bug. He didn't
support it. He just stated it.
Yeah. Well, no. Again, like I said, I didn't know if he was. I didn't know if he was trying to give credit to Shanahan or Dubas, kind of say, yeah, it was a great move, but it was, you know, somebody else that said it. I'd like clarity, just like Bo Horvat now was kind of making clarity today to Vancouver Canuck fans, but just a bit. You know, I doubt Sheldon will say, he won't come out and say, no, I'm pissed they did it. You know, I don't know. I can't see him having a problem with it. I think more he's trying to share that actually other people in the organization thought it was a good idea. That's what I read into it because, you know, who's going to quibble with it? I thought it was really neat. There's all kinds of people out there listening right now.
Oh, we quibble.
That's you quibbled?
Yeah, we didn't like it.
Oh, come on. Why?
Those were grumps.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Not a contest to play in the NHL, buddy. You got to earn your right to play in the National Hockey League.
The guy did earn his right to play. He signed, you know, he did it by playing it. He's the best goaltender they had available as a backup on that particular night. You're winning about 7-1.
But they didn't
He's a
send
local
scouts
guy.
to Chesswood Arena on men's night on Thursday either. They could have found somebody.
My goalie,
there.
Chris, is just as good as that guy, guarantee.
Yeah. Okay, well, put him in next time for a minute. I don't care.
A Greek guy named Panos. Pretty good, too.
Hey, if they're signing, this was not the e-bug, okay? This was not Zamboni guy, okay? This was a legitimate, you know, Canadian University goaltender. There's been a bit of a rejuvenation of some Canadian University player. Wayne Simmons, you just talked about him, right? He played there years ago. So, what are you guys party poopers about? Like, you know, see, this is the problem. You've had to slice and dice the regular season too long, and you guys are tired. You guys, load management, take tomorrow off. Okay, and put Gunner and Sammy in, okay? Because I'm telling you, we need your A game by the playoffs.
I tell you, we'd go more willingly than Giordano. I can tell you that.
Yeah, we're not getting it today with that last question.
Why don't you invite us to the dog park every once in a while so we could just mellow
fresh
out?
air.
Oh man, Blue's going after one big poodle there. I don't know, man. I'm not getting welcome. I don't like poodles anyway, but geez, I don't know. Gotta check at the door when that dog walker comes with about 8 of them. I could use you, Kippy. Get me a coffee or something.
Sounds good,
Help
pal.
me.
Hey, thanks for doing this. As always, there, Stellectricity.
Hey, let's go. Hey, best time of year next Monday, right? The playoffs, can't wait, and everything else that's going on. So looking for it. Hey, thanks,
we'll
guys.
Be chatting, pal. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll say hi to Brent. I'll say hi to Gunner for you. Okay,
do that
Kippy?
for me.
Yeah, we'll do.
And thank him for me.
See you later.
That is Gord Stellick, Leaf Nation pre and post right here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Just Gunners catching strays, Jet Alexander's getting hit, just
awesome.
a shrapnel everywhere.
He is,
Gunner's the man. We don't make fun of him because we love him. That's fine.
Yeah, he's a poor man, Sammy.
I don't think he'd like that.
No, probably not. Oh, we're both big, tall, white guys with beards. We think we're all alike.
Yeah.
Last week I heard they were talking about Tuesday opening up game 1. Tuesday.
Oh, really? The
Tuesday.
18th.
Well, they probably want the Leafs on the
But
Saturday night.
I'm not sure if the Raptors are going to kind of play into this as well, because they've got a
play-in game
two
on.
play-ins, don't they?
They play.
They're trying to help the Leafs play as deep as they can into.
So they play on
Wednesday, Friday?
Wednesday this week, right? Is it what's
Yeah.
the Wednesday? It's the
Wednesday at
12th.
home and then Friday on the road, I think.
So that would, but it wouldn't matter.
No,
though,
well,
because it wouldn't matter.
but
Because
I don't know if those are locked in or not.
even if they get through those two games, it doesn't matter because they're going to be starting on the road for the next series. So the next week would be wide open for the ACC Scotiabank
Yeah.
Arena, unless they got a concert in there or something. But I think they probably would have left this part of the schedule open. I would hope.
This is not our problem.
I would imagine that they would want to Leafs Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, right? They want that Saturday night hockey night in Canada Leafs playoff game. I
Sounds
would
pretty
imagine.
juicy.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So it does. Then we'll guess, take an educated guess that it'll be next Tuesday.
Okay. Is that an educated guess, or do you know?
Hey, listen, this guy's last name is Kypreos. The guy who makes the plans is Hatsos Patros or something like that. I think he might have a tie.
One thought on their opponent, Tampa Bay, as we continue to see them allow a lot of goals into their net.
Yeah. Well, they've been up to lately.
Yeah, but also, guess what? They're like, every time they're like, and Tanner Janot's leg has fallen off on the ice, and then it's like, Free on Saturday night. Free on Saturday night. It's not as bad as we thought. It's like, how is it not as bad as we thought?
Wow,
Anyway.
they gave up a TD to Ottawa.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw it halfway through. I didn't know it finished like that.
We are well past. This is a team just lying in the weeds. There are some issues going on there.
No.
Yes.
Kipper, not hearing it.
No, you and I can have an adult conversation if you'd like.
La.
Yeah. Okay, but I will give him this much credit that only one guy can really beat you in this series, and that's the guy that worries him the most.
It's the guy who's given up 21 in the last 3 games?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I know, and I say
He's
that
given
like
up
I don't
21.
believe it. I believe it, boys.
He's given up 21 in the last 3 games.
Vasilevsky, as long as
I don't know if he's been net
I think Elliott started on
as
against Ottawa.
long as Vasilevsky comes into this series as the better goalie of the two, it makes them dangerous.
Yes.
But outside of that, there really is no reason why the Leafs shouldn't beat Tampa Bay.
Now, with all the Leafs money, they can't find someone to hold Vasilevsky in a closet somewhere until the series is over. This guy, seriously, he's the one guy that feels like looms over it all.
I got this guy, Mikey, who DMs me all the time, diehard Lightning fan. He's always like, oh, we suck. Leafs in 5. He's like, yeah, we're giving up 12 every night. We suck.
He's not wrong.
And I'm like, no, this guy is RJing the hell out of me. Mikey is just trying to get inside my head. It's working. I will not hear one conversation.
They've got some issues on the back end, and it falls right after you have a discussion about Victor Hedman. They cannot keep the puck out of their own net.
I mean, it's a good
Don't
thing
look at me like that, Kipper.
someone pulling for the Leafs.
There's also,
and it's a truth right now. But yes, I'm with Sam that I see that.
Do you want to hear a real doomer take?
Yes.
That the fact that they are wounded animal is worse than the fact that they're fully healthy, because this is a little bit of a chance for the Leafs to let their foot off the gas, a little bit of a chance for them to take them lightly. And the wounded animal Lightning that have always done well in the playoffs rise to the occasion. Vasilevsky, nine
truly the most cynical, depressing thing I've ever heard.
948 save percentage in the first round. Unbeatable.
I moved to Toronto,
There's a recipe.
I don't know, 11 years ago. I don't have these scars that run that deep.
Oh, I got scars, baby.
I mean, that's
He's
barely
a
a
road
coherent point.
I got scars.
He's a road map. He's got so many scars.
What's the line from Billy Madison? And we are all dumber for having heard it.
They could give up 15 a night until the playoffs, and I'm not going to feel any differently.
Okay, before they get to Tampa tomorrow night, they got to go through the Florida Panthers tonight. We do expect Matthew Nyes to be in the lineup.
We do?
Sure.
I don't expect anything.
We're calling it.
Yeah.
I texted
absolutely.
Luke Fox to see if he knew the Haps, and he said, my guess is yes. So.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. George Richards will join us to give us his thoughts on the Panthers getting in. Their schedule, guys, still rather tough. Toronto tonight and Carolina to finish out. So we'll get George Richards after the break. You're watching and listening to Real Kyper and Bourne.
real Kyper and Bourne on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Okay, let's bring in George Richards, longtime Panther writer. Florida Hockey Now is where he is. George, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
We're good. Up here, the feeling is big picture stuff now, but Leafs are in for a tough fight against a team that's fighting for their lives and one that's, on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, Florida Panthers, 6 games, actually.
6?
And
Excuse me.
After they lost that game in Ottawa and went to Toronto, we were like, well, they're going to have to probably win 7 of 8 or 8 in a row. And lo and behold, the team that couldn't win 3 in a row all year, here they are. So, they're, they handled it. If they can handle their own business, which isn't going to be easy with Toronto in tonight and Carolina on Thursday, but if they can handle their own business, they're in.
Just before JB, if you had to pick one storyline, is this just Matthew Tkachuk? People, are they riding his coattails right now down there? Is he the one main reason why they're even in this position?
I think he's one of them, absolutely. Matthew Tkachuk, is just like Paul Maurice said, a gamer. I mean, the guy shows up every night and does something else to help his team. But I think the storyline in this winning streak was the guy that the Panthers rolled out, in Toronto 6 games ago, and that was Alex Lyon. Sergei Bobrovsky was sick, and it seemed like Florida was waving a white flag. They were about to lose 5 in a row, and Alex Lyon plays a fantastic game in Toronto, wills the Panthers through the first 2.5 periods of that game because the rest of the Panthers weren't really doing anything in that game, but Alex Lyon wasn't giving up any goals. Florida ties it, goes to overtime, wins it. Alex Lyon hasn't lost. I think he's the biggest story right now in the Panthers because he has absolutely saved this season for Florida.
And this is a 30-year-old guy here. This is not some young upstart. It's a guy who's been around for some time. Bobrovsky was out with a cold or whatever sickness he had, as you mentioned before. As they get into games that matter, like Florida, they hold tiebreakers. They look quite likely to have a shot to get into playoffs here. Would they play Lyon in the playoffs over Bobrovsky?
I don't see why not. If he ends up winning these next 2, how can you take out the guy that's won 8 straight games? We're just moving ahead here. How do you take him out? How do you take out that kind of a hot hand? I mean, he's given up 1 or 2 goals a game. It's not like Sergei Bobrovsky was on the course for a Vezina this season. He was giving up 3, 4, 5 a night. So Alex Lyon's actually been the better goalie these last 6 games. So unless he has a complete meltdown and the Panthers back in, I mean, if things keep going the way they are right now, Alex Lyon's the starting goalie of the Florida Panthers.
Has anyone noticed that the payroll has around $14 million in goaltenders down there, and you're not using either one of them? Has anyone noticed?
Well, it's $14 million next year. That's when Spencer Knight's new deal kicks in. I think people are noticing that a lot, and I think a lot of people, when the Panthers went out and spent $70 million on Sergei Bobrovsky, were like, you are missing a goalie. That is the missing piece. But then you look around the league and you see other teams succeeding with goalies and other teams failing because they can't find a starting goalie. So the Panthers thought they were set forever with Sergei Bobrovsky. That contract didn't look good then. It doesn't look great now. I think people are noticing that the guy that you called up from AHL Charlotte is saving their season. I think, we've seen that storyline play out in the NHL over the last couple years. Sometimes, goalies are a funny thing. We all know that. Right now they're the ones laughing, but it's the guy making $750. Not even that, because he's been playing in the AHL all year. I don't know what he's going to end up making. It's a lot more. Since he's been in the NHL, but he's making a fraction of what the other ones are making.
Can I just follow up one more with with Florida goaltending? Spencer Knight, you just mentioned his new contract does not kick in till next season, but we do know that he's entered the NHL and NHLPA player assistant program.
Yep.
But my question to you, is this an example of just too much too soon for a guy? And, you know, where you're hearing on where he is right now, would he be in a position to come back? Is the season written off for him? What can you tell us what you know about this?
Yeah, we haven't gotten much word because the Panthers can't say anything on this deal. We haven't seen Spencer Knight. He was sent down to Charlotte to get some playing time, and then he entered the NHLPA assistant program. So we haven't heard anything. We haven't seen him around. As far as this season goes, I don't know. I mean, until he walks through the door, and we just don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's it's just one of those things. You don't know what's going on. He's just not here, and there are no plans for him to be here. But if he walked through the door this afternoon, he's here.
So, George, this Panthers team is really curious, obviously, coming off a President's Trophy season. You know, this last 5 games is a reminder of what they can be. They show up as one of the best offensive teams, any sort of metric I look at. Is this last 5 games more like them, or were the previous 75 games more like them? Like, I'm trying to figure out if this is just a blip here or them kind of finding themselves again.
They're trying to think. Yeah, they're thinking in the same way you are. We don't know. I mean, I walked into the arena all season long, security guard. How are they going to do? I don't know. Flip a coin. Have no idea how this team's going to do tonight. Nobody did. They could not win 3 straight games until February. I mean, this was a team, like you said, won the President's Trophy last year, and they couldn't put together the most modest of winning streaks. And now they've been able to put some stuff together. Listen, they lost 4 in a row going into Toronto, but before that, they were 6-0-1. So this team has been playing better of late. Maybe that 4-game losing streak was the blip and not this. But, if let's just say the Panthers do end up making the playoffs, maybe they're the first wild card in the East, that's not too far off from what we thought the Panthers would be this season. When you look at the preseason, you're like, okay, the Panthers they're not going to win the President's Trophy this year. They just had too many changes, but they should be in the top 3 in the Atlantic or 4th. And that's what they may end up being. So after all of this, they may actually be what we thought they were going to be in the first place.
Outside of Matthew Tkachuk and maybe Alex Lyon, who is heating up right now? Who are Leaf fans going to watch in tonight's game that they should be a little weary of on the other side?
Well, anytime you talk about the Florida Panthers, you talk about their captain, Sasha Barkov. I believe since he came back from that hand injury, he's got points in 17 out of 18 games. He's got 30 points. Very quietly just piling up the points is Sasha Barkov, and he's just a driver of this team. For all the flash and dash that the Jonathan Huberdeaus and the Matthew Tkachuks always seem to draw that spotlight off of Barkov, he quietly is the guy that drives this team. And anytime you watch them, I think you notice what he does on the ice. Carter Verhaeghe just got his 41st goal. He's a guy to pay attention to. And Anthony Duclair, he's only got the 1 goal. We're still waiting for him to break out. So that could come at any day. So, there you go.
Crucial question here. Have you had the chance to ask Ekblad how he feels about Brooks Koepka's showing on Sunday at the Masters?
We actually did. I was there today, and we talked to him about it. And shockingly, you're not going to believe this, he was rooting for Brooks Koepka. He says that Brooks Koepka, yes. Listen, I couldn't believe it myself. I'm like, come on, Aaron, nonsense. And he goes, no, he actually put money on Brooks Koepka to win the thing. Apparently, Brooks Koepka, who, infamously, was in a Panther luxury suite, and he had the traffic cone and was shouting expletives at Aaron Ekblad. Apparently, he texted him and apologized, and Aaron Ekblad says, all is cool. He was rooting for Brooks in the Masters and thought he was going to win it, and actually lost a couple bucks betting on him.
Okay,
wow.
So Brooks went up a couple notches for me just now.
You like that?
Sharing that story with me.
Yeah, there you go. FloridaHockeyNow.com. Story's up there. Check it out.
That's perfect. All right, pal, we're going to let you go. Enjoy the game tonight, as we will, and thanks for joining us.
All right, fellas, be good.
Thanks so much.
Right. George Richards down in Florida helping us tee up the Panthers. See, I did call that. I did.
Ekblad would do the right thing?
No, that's all it. That's all that needed to happen is Brooks could have easily said, "Hey, buddy, listen." First of all, it's abundantly clear with Brooks, and we said this. You see what you get. He's not a phony. He's not pretending to be anything he's not. But the one thing he is he's passionate about the Panthers.
The Peas.
He is. He's a big fan.
The Peas, as he calls them.
The Peas. So all it took was just a simple text.
Yeah.
To say, "Hey, bud, I was a little sauced up, man."
Yeah, but I
100% with that text.
I was greased. What do you want?
I was greased.
Yeah.
I want you guys to make the playoffs so much. I just got a little frustrated, and that's it. Listen, at the end of the day, I'd forgive him if I got to play 18 holes with him.
I was just going to say, here's the thing. Pro athletes love other pro athletes because it gives you a tie to another level of access to sports. You're a sports fan if you're an athlete, right?
But he did the right thing. He did. He just reached out and said, I hope you didn't take it personally.
Do it quickly because I think he was asked within a week of.
Yeah. So
needed to listen to our show because we suggested he do that and it could clean everything up.
We were the #1 Ekblad versus Koepka show. We broke it down from every angle.
And it just died.
We talked about a lot. But I will say that I did a little bit of this. I always do a bit of this in the playoffs with the Leafs. When it gets to the bigger games, 6-7 or 5-6-7, the Leafs have a chance to move on to the final round. Not the final round, I'm talking golf here. The next round.
Yeah.
I'll always sprinkle a little on the opposite side.
100%.
I like to call it the happiness hedge.
Yes.
Andrew Walker, TM, I think came up with that
about
name.
this last week.
No.
Yeah.
That's stolen from me. Walks got that from me.
Okay, I don't know, whatever. Whoever came up with it.
Yeah.
I think this is a bit of a happiness hedge from Ekblad.
Yes, I know. If this
He's
guy
like,
wins
if
in my eye, I better get paid for it.
You know what, Hole, who's been making fun of me hammered at a game, wins, I would like to be compensated.
It's so brilliant to me. Go cash that check.
And he blew it. So he's probably pretty happy. I bet
you could just bet on the right horse and then just win.
That sounds better.
Like I did.
That. Yeah, Sammy got Rom after a double bogey on the first hole, 13-1.
Made $400 this weekend, boys.
Ooh, buddy.
Exciting.
If you look at the schedule, what odds do you give the Florida Panthers here?
Very good odds, and I will tell you why. The RW column is regulation wins, of which they have the most of the Islanders, Penguins, and Panthers. So they have the most there. The team closest to them is the New York Islanders. The next tiebreak is head-to-head. They also have that tiebreaker. So they have two crucial tiebreakers as both teams have 2 games left. They do have the most challenging schedule, mind you. So that is, but what are you going to get from Toronto and Carolina effort-wise?
I expect the Leafs to go in there and play pretty hard.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Carolina,
and I think they're gunning, and
I would hope so.
Still playing for
Mitch is
too.
still chasing 100, and
well, you can't quit playing hard hockey here. You're about to play the hardest 5 or 6 or 7 games of your life here.
Which tough to put the pedal down when you know that's coming though. So they have Toronto, Carolina. The Islanders have Washington and Montreal, not as good. And Pittsburgh has Chicago, Columbus, 31 and 32nd ranked teams in the NHL. Last I checked.
Austin's going to get his 40th goal tonight. He's scoring his 40th goal tonight.
How many is he at 39 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting 40.
Mitch gets 100, Austin gets 40, and they both shut her down.
I haven't seen a shift out of Austin Matthews without at least 2 shot attempts, if not 2 shots on goal. He is just he's got a little tunnel vision going on right now.
Yeah.
He is shooting the puck every chance he gets, and that's what goal scorers do.
That goal he scored on Saturday was lovely. But that was vintage Matthews. Off a great pass from Marner. So I love, we didn't even really talk about it, but thank God those two are back together.
It's nice to see.
You knew it was coming.
And it's about time. Just keep them together. Don't worry about the rest. You're
reunited and it feels so good.
It did feel good. Seeing those guys light it up
is just, as much as you you've kind of fantasized a little bit of Matthews, Tavares, and Ryan O'Reilly. 1, 2, 3. It's Ryan's going to have to babysit Nylander and Tavares.
I think they'll do loaded up at home. That's my prediction, that you'll see a Ryan O'Reilly centered second line in Toronto. And I think on the road, where you're more likely to just roll your lines, you'll see them spread them out onto a third line.
I think that's really well said.
And as we saw Saturday night, we know where John Tavares' strengths are. Front of the net, power play.
Like him on the way.
Outside of that, like 5-on-5 and 200-foot game, he's really third line centerman right now.
Yeah, he can make plays with the puck in and around the net still, but I mean, he actually has more power play points, 38, than regular or even strength, 37.
So I think it's pretty. I was talking about this on Lease Talk with JD after the game on Saturday, but I'll bring it up with you guys. The Ryan O'Reilly finger injury, bit of a maybe blessing in disguise for the Leafs in terms of how he's looked through 2 games with his pace and his freshness. Like, I thought in both games, he looked way quicker than he looked in any games when he first got here.
He made some comments, too, about how it allowed him to sit up and really watch the Toronto Maple Leafs players and their tendencies. So you come in, you have 8-9 games where you're in the mix, you're playing with guys, getting to see that whole vibe, playing the systems. You step back, you rest up, you watch the team a little, you come back in for the last 4 games. He's certainly in a good position to succeed.
He looked, I mean, everyone looked awesome. Montreal is dreadful, but he, to me, was really moving well, hard on the puck, hard on sticks. Like, he's going to be a huge player for the Leafs in the playoffs.
He's just really a smart, intelligent player.
Yeah.
And, the one thing, even before there was real talk about Ryan O'Reilly coming in, I told you I didn't foresee a fit right away. It's like, first of all, you're going to make a major trade for that. You don't even have a spot for him on the power play. And today, at least coming out of the weekend, we know the only way you put him in on a power play is you got to take one of your big 4 out.
Yeah.
The easiest one to do.
I don't know how this thing plays out in terms of going to try to win the Stanley Cup without Willie Nylander as a top power play guy.
One thing about Willie, I'll give him credit for this. He's not a powder. Like, he'll show up and play Willie hockey. The problem with Nylander, I think you can argue, is that you can't really move him in either direction. He's just kind of Willie. He just shows up and Willie's. I don't think he's a guy who's going to go down the big second line. I think he'll go do his thing.
I like O'Reilly in that top unit we always talk about a guy going to get it.
Yeah.
He's a guy that, how Kipper, you hated how far out Tavares was coming from the net, and it felt like he was always up on the half boards a lot, and you don't like him out there.
Yeah.
Feel like that's a spot where Ryan O'Reilly can be, winning puck battles along there, getting it back towards the net. Like the one he gave to Willie where he knocks a puck down, fires it towards the net.
Yes.
Like, he is better at that.
He's a very headsy player.
Yeah. Little passes in tight.
And think about like a power play breakout, like Tavares and O'Reilly.
Not the quickest.
But they're not going to bring them all the way back. Your 2 swingers are going to be Marner and Matthews, and go with Riley or Gustafsson. Ooh, we'll say Riley.
Well, listen, Riley's coming back into the lineup tonight. We know that.
Yeah.
And don't think he doesn't feel a sense of urgency to go back and get a couple power plays under his belt where he feels like he's a part of something that can continue moving forward here. He's feeling it. You go 4 for 6 Saturday night without you.
You're just going, here's Job from Arrested Development. Oh, come on.
He is coming in tonight going, I want to be first man up on the next power play, and I want it to be successful, and I got to get going here. I got 3 games to show everybody. There's not even going to be a debate on who's back here on the number 1 power play unit.
Not sure you want him pressing, though.
Yeah.
No, there is a sense of urgency for a player. Players know when they're being watched, and they know when they have to deliver.
Yeah.
He's going to have to deliver, if not tonight, then in Tampa or in New York. But New York's too late. He's got to make a presence felt on the power play tonight.
The one thing I'd like to see him take from Gustafsson's book is that Gustafsson can create a lane where there isn't one. like with a lean, a fake, a step, like create some sort of passing lane. Riley can hit it when it's there, but doesn't seem to make it as well as Gustafson's able to.
That play that he's got with the fake clapper sidestep is
like
an
Mike
elite.
Green.
It's like an elite power play move.
For sure.
It really, really is.
Let's listen to Sheldon Keefe. Tell us about old Gustafson. If Derek, if it's not too late to go to the clipboard.
He's a very confident guy, and he's got a high skill level, very smart, grid sense. But yeah, he's missed significant time, so you don't know how that's going to affect a guy, especially a guy that's new to our team. But definitely was important for us to get him in here tonight. And as it turned out, he got lots of touches, and I thought he did a good job both 5-on-5 and on the power play.
I wouldn't say I love them 5-on-5. I don't love them.
It's a lot of compliments for a guy that won't play.
I was gonna say you're not seeing Gustafson unless someone is hurt. No, unless two players are hurt or the power play is 0 for 20. Right?
I have never refreshed Twitter harder than I am right now because Keith's supposed to be talking at 4:35. I'm just dying for the Nyes update. Can't find it.
He's supposed to be talking about 7 minutes?
He's supposed to be talking about right now. No, at 4:35 he's supposed to be out is what Luke Fox said to me. So,
all right.
I'm texting my boy on the ground for some updates.
All right. The other thing is do you foresee any chance that if Matthew Nyes is in tonight, he sees any power play time in front of the net or anything at all?
I think you could put him on PP2, which will get its 15 seconds, and you could say you're the stretch guy, so you don't need to know any routes. You stand in front of the net. Like, here's all the simplest parts of being on the power play.
There is a part of me, though, that feels like he can have a little bit of success here early. I really believe he'll be noticeable tonight.
Yeah. I do, too. I think he's going to have jump, right? Like, he's fast by all accounts. He's a larger body. My concern, I'll tell you right now, my concern with this guy is that he has been accustomed to making plays and, putting it through someone's feet or trying to, beat a guy one-on-one.
Like trying to pull a David Kampf into a Michigan or something.
Yeah, trying to do too much for what is needed from you, not expected of you, needed from you.
And there is a sense that he is cocky enough to think it's not that big of a deal. Right. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Oh, I think it is.
In my era, it was probably not a good thing.
Yeah, well, your era, you get punched in the face for doing it. Now you just turn the puck over.
You just
and you get to go out again because you don't get benched anymore.
The quote that I read, I guess, on the weekend, and I think it came from The Athletic, was that, I work harder than the guy next to me. Which
you know what I thought of right away? I thought of his teammates.
I'm like, I'm not sure that's what you want to say, because there's an assumption out there that you are going up against some of the best players in the world. And
the best players in the world.
Okay. And you still want to say that you're going to work harder than the guy next to me, when really you should say that I'm working as hard
as I can.
Well, that's the humble one.
Yeah.
But how about this one? No one will outwork me.
Sure. Like that one. Nice phrasing.
Right? It's not quite as I'm going to work hard. Like you're up against great players here. I got
Connor
news
McDavid
for you.
Goes pretty good.
They work hard.
Yeah, he's got that pedal down pretty hard.
He's in the gym.
Just say you won't be outworked.
Yeah.
But don't say that you're going to work harder than you've already insulted the guy beside you. He could be a Hall of Famer. He could be Stamkos. Tomorrow night you could be against Stamkos, and what you're saying is, I'm going to work harder than you.
Yeah.
Because I know this, because I went to college. Right?
This is such Toronto market stuff. It is true, though. Kip, I saw the comment and I thought the same thing, because I actually thought about your teammates, the guy in the stall beside you or whatever, to be like, yeah, I work harder than the guy beside me. It's like, well, seen some of these guys working pretty hard.
But I don't know. If he believes it and he can put proof to the pudding, then it makes him just a special player.
Ignorance is bliss for a while.
They were doing okay.
We'll see.
I hate that clip so much. Milestones over the weekend?
60.
150 for
150 and 60 for pasta.
Yeah, it's got to suck for Matthews. No?
the next year.
I
a
cannot
couple guys get
believe
there.
you said you're even going there. What would suck? Because Pasternak got 60 and McDavid's well over 60. That sucks for Matthews.
Well, no, he'd be like,
explain.
because he's like, I am the preeminent goal scorer in the NHL. I am the first guy in however many years since Ovi or since Stamkos. It's been a long time. I am the man. I score the most goals. I'm the best goal scorer.
And they're like,
and then
yoink.
two guys are like, 60's no problem. Bing, bing.
See, I don't get that.
You don't think that? You don't think anything do that? Okay.
No. How about like, I'm in good company the last couple of years.
Okay.
Good goal scorers. Pasternak is probably the most underrated goal scorer. Like he has
underrated.
Underrated? No.
Now what's he got? A rocket, 2 rockets.
Everybody just
he's awesome.
Everyone talks about him like he's the second common.
So he's rated
time.
well.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
good talk.
sorry for shutting you down.
No, hey, sometimes you're just wrong.
He's so good, and he's strong, and he's everything you want Willie Nylander to be.
I got something for you on Pasta. He is one of the league's leader in a bad way in terms of the difference between takeaways and giveaways. He gives the puck away a ton.
Yeah, the
You
only
almost have to try to do the stuff that
well,
he
that's
does.
kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, Kipper, if Willie Nylander had the giveaway that he had in the Boston game against Toronto, where he just throws an absolute grenade right up the middle that Sam Lafferty picks off, we would have spent 25 minutes breaking that down on the show the next day.
But he's just played so much harder than Willie over the course of his career.
For sure.
Okay, and that's
He's never been this
you
good.
get passes. You get
He was in his contract year. He was
What did he-
having
what
an
did he end up
unbelievable
getting
year in his
paid? What did he
contract.
get?
Oh, he had the big discount. $11.5 million big
Yeah.
discount.
when he should be
Pretty
the
much,
highest
pretty
paid
much
winger.
Peter Pan.
Sorry to bring that up
He
again. Sam.
should be the highest paid winger.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
he should just put this
Panarin
guy.
couldn't carry his jockstrap right now.
Send him to the Vatican. He's the holy man.
Why is he making less than Panarin? Explain that to me, and use it without using the word discount.
Does he? Does he make less, or I think he makes
Yes.
more than?
Well,
Panarin.
why don't you look it up there?
I don't, because my computer's not
Producer.
working right now.
Yeah, he took a couple nickels less.
Tell me why he's making less.
I guess the only argument would be Panarin is wildly overpaid.
Say
Correct.
it.
Panarin's way overpaid.
Discount.
No chance. I will never agree ever. But McDavid 150 is way more impressive than 60.
Yeah, we're watching peak prime
Greatness.
Gretzky here.
Does it not give you a sense of how unbreakable Gretzky's 200 points a season are? When
Right.
you can watch McDavid
like,
put
not good
together
enough.
a season that historically is one of the best in history, and he ain't close.
It's crazy. I watch Oilers all the time. He scores 5 points a game, and he's still got, 60 points to get to Gretzky?
Yeah, roughly
It's
60.
hard to wrap your
212
mind around. Yeah,
is
212.
the record.
Yeah,
212.
that's just dumb.
You can't wrap your mind around it.
So Bob Stauffer put out a tweet, our regular guest out from
Staff.
Edmonton, the Staff man, on Matthias Ekholm since he's been with the Oilers. He's been there for 19 hockey matches so far.
16,
Yep.
2,
And 1.
and 1.
16, 2, and 1 since they got Ekholm.
Decent trade there, Kenny.
3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points, plus 25. The best on the Oilers, who are a pretty good team, and he's playing 21 minutes a night for them.
Isn't Bukestad listening to our show and going, excuse me? Are we not?
Since I've been here, we're
Are
pretty
we
good.
16 wins with me too?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
It's
not
true.
quite the same level.
So
of
the
impact.
Oilers traded for their best defenseman at the deadline, and now they have their best defenseman. It's a guy they got at the deadline.
Travis Yost does good work. He has an article about goal differential, like how much you beat your opponents by and what a predictor it is of playoff success. The Bruins have been very good, but the Oilers look like maybe the next most dangerous team in the NHL. At least the West. They're the next most dangerous team, I think.
Boys, can you imagine a Leafs-Oilers final?
Sportsnet executives just crying listening to that.
It's really going to affect my golf game. I got to be honest.
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
you.
that
that's
would be a major hindrance on our own early singing.
like Scottie
season
Pippen said
rounds.
one time, I ain't going to F my summer up.
That's an all-time line.
So what's the goal differential on Edmonton, did you say?
Well, just the amount they beat opponents by.
Yeah.
Like they generally win games by 2 goals, not 1 goal. Like I don't know what the actual numbers are. I read it earlier today, so I don't have it in front of me. Their goal differential, though, you could look at there. What is it?
Oilers are second with a plus 61.
Wow.
to Boston.
Yeah.
They've gone up.
Do you know what
big
Boston
time.
is?
Plus
Plus 120 or something.
124.
Oh
I think it's
my
gonna be
God.
like a record of some variety. Leafs plus 57 or something. They're really close, I think. To
And what
Edmonton.
record is Boston chasing right now?
They'd beat it. 63 wins all-time regular season wins record. They have it.
Perfect team. Unflappable.
Unbeatable.
That's a post salary cap record, right?
Yes, there's definitely OT and shootout
Yeah.
wins
Yeah.
in there.
But not history.
131 points.
We can't really use the word history on that.
Well, I mean,
Just post salary cap record. That's such a
in the history
it's-
of the post.
Does that
of the
sound
salary cap.
horrible? Right?
Little asterisks
And let's welcome the post salary cap record holders.
The insane thing is there's 82 games in the season.
So-
So far, 63 times they
Fellas?
have won.
From David Alter on Twitter. Sheldon Keefe confirms Matthew Nyes will make his NHL debut
Yeah.
tonight.
Round of
against
clicks for the
Florida.
boys.
We had it.
All right, get them in.
Wow,
Get him in.
tonight just got juicier.
Number 23
Love that number.
Is that what he
in
wearing?
your program.
Jordan shows up.
Oh my
MJ.
God. I was thinking more Bonikarovsky.
Jumpman.
I was thinking Eddie Shack.
It says a lot about our
There's the
ages.
track. There comes Nyes.
It's good for him. It's going to be fun. I wanted to get this in here about Erik Karlsson going for 100 points and what an incredible accomplishment that is.
Yes. 100 points for a defenseman on a team that, what's their goal differential, Kip? Can you give me the San Jose Sharks goal differential?
Yeah,
Probably
you
not
can.
plus 124.
Minus 78.
Minus 78. He is got 100 points on that club.
So here's the name of the here's the name of the guys that have done it: Dennis Potvin, Bobby Orr, Brian Leach, Al McInnes, Paul Coffey.
100 points from a D-man. He'd be the 6th ever.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep. Pretty incredible.
And probably the only one to do it missing the playoffs that year.
Well, and not like missing the playoffs by a hair.
No, they're
They're
not
30 points
They
out
were
of playoffs.
mathematically eliminated at training camp.
Yeah, when they went, was that this year they went overseas and lost 4 in a row and they
That's right.
recovered?
Was it this year?
I can't remember. All my years
The
go
one year
together.
the Sharks came back 0-2 and never recovered.
So I just thought the plus minuses are interesting for guys who have had 100 points. Paul Coffey was dash 25 one year when he had 103, and the other time he was dash 10 when he had 113 points on the one. But everybody else has huge, gaudy numbers. Bobby Orr has the most ever in the history of the league in terms of points in a season for a defenseman with 139 points in 78 games. Fellas, he was plus 124.
What?
124.
Oh my God.
They have to trade
oh my
him
God.
Oh my
this
God,
summer.
they have to.
This
Have to.
summer.
They have to strike
You
while the iron's-
cannot-
No, 100%.
You cannot wait
No.
and take a chance that his level drops off by November next Christmas.
The funny thing is, and I say this, I don't know, I just feel like everyone, this is going to sound awful. Everyone's on to Erik Karlsson. Like, I think everyone knows exactly what he is. He is a point producing machine that doesn't play within a structure or system. Like when he's just left to his own devices, he is a point producing machine. I understand he was very good for Ottawa the one year they went on the run, but I just don't think he defends. I don't know if you want him in playoffs.
The biggest tale for me
Of course you want him.
is when you went to San Jose and you had a guy like Brent Burns still at the height of his game and you couldn't form any chemistry at all.
Yeah.
That to me is something to be said, that it doesn't work for you unless you're the guy and you're in complete control and you get to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. You know, what does he do to the Leafs PP1? You know, let Erik Karlsson
Looks pretty good, it
run
probably.
that thing.
So before we go here, where are you expecting Nyes to play? What are you expecting from him tonight?
I think he's going to get some looks on the top 6. But I'd probably have him anywhere between 9 and 13 minutes.
The one thing I expect him tonight is to play with Ryan O'Reilly. That is my prediction. They'll put him with someone who's like a third liner, who's defensively responsible, a veteran guy who can talk him through anything.
Did he mention who's out?
No. Didn't mention who's out, just that tweet. And the other update here is that Matt Murray unavailable again, and the Leafs will dress another amateur tryout goalie tonight.
So they still can't get Wool in?
Jet?
No, I don't know. No, because I guess the nice thing, like they had to sign him, and
Yeah, it's salary cap implications
this
here.
is a huge risk with Samsonov. Huge. You better hope Nyes is good, because you're putting your starting goalie, your meal ticket, in a big time. I guess they probably got to go back to back here anyway. He's not going to play both games, so maybe you wouldn't want him to face Tampa tomorrow night anyway. But this is a hungry team, going to be crashing the net, looking for goals, like big risk.
So
To quote Ren
Samsonov
and
gets
Stimpy,
hurt
no,
tonight.
sir, I don't like it.
If Samsonov gets hurt tonight, you're stuck with this.
Nyes better play goal.
You're stuck with this PTO guy and the e-bug of Florida's choice.
Fine. It's
That's
fine.
That's
It's
a
fine.
good look for a National Hockey League team.
Burning room around me, dog. It's fine.
He's fine.
It's fine.
No problems,
What's
boys.
fine?
No problem.
It's fine.
Well, hopefully Nyes gets a hattie tonight. Good boy. I am excited. It's nice. Listen, from a content perspective, this week could have been a little lean. These games are meaningless. They're playing against teams like
I
they're
want
already
to
clinched.
see if Matthew Tkachuk wants to line up anybody like he did DeBrincat.
Oh my!
That's the most dead I think I've seen a player get. I mean, poor DeBrincat was stopped like he got hit by a train. He just started traveling the opposite direction from which he was traveling.
Wasn't a smart move to blindside Matthew Tkachuk on your way by him.
Talk about taking a number. Wow.
Yeah, and then
Would you not have Simmons in tonight?
I don't think they can. I think he's gone now because
Did they have to put him on waivers to create all of this room?
I think so. I think he gone.
There's no waivers today.
Yeah. So I don't think he's around.
So maybe he didn't
Salary
have to
cap
clear.
disappears in 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some. This juggling just sucks, for the fans. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we're just trying to feel the sports team here.
Sam Lafferty is day-to-day and not expected to play in Florida or Tampa. Leafs going 11-7. Nyes will skate with Achari and Kerfoot. The college
O'Reilly, I missed.
Listen,
Flex Seal.
It's that's just them trying to protect him. That's all early.
Yeah.
But I can't see this game without him having a few looks with the big boys.
I love that they didn't start him with like Marner and Matthews. That would have been really annoying, right? That would have really changed the story here.
Yeah. But that's just to say
we didn't start him with
Yes,
Marner
we
Matthews.
didn't start
and then
him.
the second period, they're down 1-0, and all of a
Exactly.
sudden it's.
Okay, our thanks to Gord Stellick and George Richards helping us tee up tonight's game. Enjoy Matthew Nyes' debut. Is the game on Sportsnet?
I don't
know. It's on TV, folks, so just look for it. We're back tomorrow, Real Kyper and Bourne. Thanks for joining us.